Shalom Akim, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Hashem Rakakadash, double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Stone rule well under Akim going out there on the highways and byways in the walk of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai with all sincerity and diligence of mind. This is the Nasha DC camp with another short lesson. So you can see, man, the folks in Nigeria are also concerned about Esau's exploits, man, because Esau likes to have his way among, the nations, likes to pull his puppets, by the string and make them go along with their agenda, so Esau is concerned, man, he needs to have a grip on power. All his colonies have to go in line. They have to follow suit, with the agenda for the new world order. And that's exactly what's going on in Venezuela. You gotta have the same thing, Europe, whether it's Ukraine, whether it's Greece, Moldova, Estonia, Hong Kong, Indonesia, whatever. The elites have plans, and they have to use all kinds of tactics, to make it happen. They have their sanctions, they have their military, to intimidate, and to wreak havoc, and bring violence, So it's beautiful, to see that the Lord Yahweh Shai is raising these concerns in the minds of the people. Because the Most High has a controversy with these Edomites that are ruling the earth.
Venezuela, a picture of chaos or a blueprint for success? Well, it's all relative, according to Nasir.
And whose success? The success of the elites. They want to see their image implanted in the minds of these people, and the Most High is pushing back against them. That's why you have these people rising up against Western imperialism. They don't want it no more. All right?
Rufai, a key ally of Nigeria's President Buhari, who this week accused the country's opposition party of plotting to emulate the crisis in Venezuela. In a televised interview, the governor of the northern state of Kaduna warned foreign nations against interfering in Nigeria's forthcoming general election.
Those that are calling for anyone to come and intervene in Nigeria, we are waiting for the person that will come and intervene. They will go back in body bags.
His strong-worded warning comes hot off the heels of what some are...
So you got Jakes over there in Nigeria, man, they're pissed off about exactly, what the government there is doing. So, hey, they rather go overseas, to different nations, especially nations in the West, Canada, United States, England, wherever. Ireland, Scotland, even China. They go all the way down there. They go to Trinidad, Jamaica, South Africa. They spread out. Judah, Benjamin, Levi. They're in there in Nigeria. And I believe that governor you see on the screen, I believe is a Levite, but he lives among the Hamites up north.
A brazenly unconstitutional power grab in Venezuela. Nicolas Maduro found his leadership in limbo after the US and a wave of other countries spoke out in support of their preferred choice for President, Juan Guaido.
We are ready to recognize Juan Guaido as interim president.
We will recognize him as constitutional interim president.
We stand ready to recognize Juan Guaido as the interim president of Venezuela.
So you see that right there, so it's not just Esau. The men, the women too, they're all in league, So the elites have all types of puppets, man. Men, women of different shades. If you're looking for a dark-skinned Hamite to push the agenda of the elites, they got it. They have a whole plethora of puppets, man. Esau's the ultimate puppet master on this earth, man. But a real puppet master is the Lord Yahweh.
This discussion in the Council is about the right of the Venezuelan people to direct their own internal affairs and choose the future of their own country democratically.
El Rufai claimed...
And that's all, fake speech, man. That's Esau for you, man. Esau don't care about the rights of the people. If he cares about the people, who won't be putting sanctions of them, starving them, you know, creating all kinds of GMOs, making them rely on a unstable economic system, poor healthcare facilities. If Esau really cared about the people, the earth would be a super paradise, man. You know, he'd be cleaning up the oceans day and night. There'll be no more, turmoils upon the face of the earth. But that's Esau for you, man. Always like to protect, pretend that he cares about the people, but he doesn't really. It's always there, to make sure he gets his slice of the pie, if not the whole pie. And if he can't get it, he's gonna disrupt the whole show.
To have intelligence that suggests Nigeria's opposition party, the PDP, are eyeing up similar tactics. Like Venezuela, Nigeria has its own pressing issues. Both developing countries are rich in natural resources, facing serious economic challenges, and along with fragile social.
Yep. So it's always been a fragile environment, man. Ever since you know, Esau went in there and started taking Jakes as slaves to build up his empire. Using them as slave labor, cheap labor, and then exploiting the environment. Cocoa, peanuts, oil, rubber. All those precious minerals. Hey, it was all nice and dandy for Esau, but now that his power structure is being threatened, he has to push harder, for all these dark, dark arts, all these special operations that go classified, to take place. You start hearing about bombings and people getting their businesses turned upside down, sanctions being thrown all over you know, all over the hemisphere. Because that's exactly how the elites operate, man. They use the sanctions to have their way. They don't want to use the bombs and ammunition or have boots on the ground. They start with sanctions. They start going after all those officials and all in office that have assets overseas. They start revoking their travel visas. They can't go abroad for medical treatment and all that stuff. They start intimidating their family members and children and their business partners and all that stuff. So that's how Esau operates, man. It can't get you directly, it's gonna come against you indirectly. And Hugo Chavez, he paid the price. So that's exactly what the Lord Yabashima Shah is talking about. You can't go along with Esau's program and expect the Lord to have mercy upon you. The elect. We have to stick with the Lord Yabashima Shah, man. You can't fight this either on a carnal level. You know, there's no nation upon the face of the earth, you know, besides Russia that could go toe to toe with America. Even the Chinese are just getting there, but they're not there yet. All right. So that's why Mosai talks about the collaboration between the kings of the East and Russia against America and the West. You know, so it just lets you know, man, the Lord is in charge, and He has to bring Esau into the Middle East to seal up his destruction.
Issues to contend with, they're no strangers to political violence. So as Nigerians prepare to cast their votes next week in what's considered a crucial general election, perhaps some level of US concern is already being anticipated. Nigeria's former president, Goodluck Jonathan, accused the former US leader Barack Obama of an overwhelming level of interference in the previous 2015 election.
And that's what the scripture talks about, man. It says those that are drunk of the cup of the whore are mad, and that's what you see, people protesting, talking about democracy. The Most High didn't set up the democracy, man, that's a righteous thing, man. Democracy is for the rich to manipulate the minds of the people, all right? But the Most High set up the righteous laws, statutes, and commandments to be observed, but the people wanted to do like the other nations. That's why you have this madness, all right? And then you're going to have a lot of violence upon the face of the earth. And then you look at the book of Psalms, chapter 58, verse 2. It says, you know what? Psalms chapter 58, verse 2. Alright, so it says, you know what? Stop in verse 1. Psalm 58, verse 1. Do ye indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do ye judge uprightly, O ye sons of men? So you see the panel of Edomites up there talking about they recognize Juan Guaido to be the boss of Venezuela. You know that the Venezuelan government has to go along with the wish of the people, but that's not exactly what they have in mind, man. They just want to put themselves in there and rape and pillage, plunder the people's resources. All right, so the Lord there, Bashim Shai, is exposing Esau, and then he lets you know in verse 2, yeah, in heart you walk wickedness. So that's exactly what you see, man. They want to have access to the people's resources because they want to be wealthy. They want to be that opulent part of society, man. They want to be part of that. You weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. So that's exactly what the Mosiah is saying concerning Esau, man. And then verse 3 says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Alright, so it's all lies, and that's what's pissing off the people. They're tired of dealing with Esau. They want to have their own destiny. They don't want to have anything to do with Esau as per politics anymore, man. They rather have chart their own destiny. And Esau doesn't want that. Esau wants to have rulership over these nations because Esau knows his power is waning, his population is decreasing, and they have to hold on at any means necessary. And that's exactly what is pissing them off. And then they have to send in their agents to manipulate the situation.
The level of interference by the Obama government was overwhelming. It goes outside the normal diplomatic relationship.
But perhaps this time will be different. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has sought to calm concerns, insisting the U.S. supports a free, fair...
I mean, no one that right mind will believe what Esau has to say, man, because the Lord has taken that covering. They don't believe Esau's words anymore, man. Even the folks in Afghanistan, they don't want to do with America. They say, well, if we can't deal with these Edomites here in the West, we'd rather go towards the ones in the East, but they're still the same people. You had the Taliban going to Russia to go talk to find out the solution, and they want the American troops out of their nation. So that there is not pleasing to the elites. Because Esau society is crumbling. One house against another house. And then he says United States government supports a free, fair, transparent, and peaceful election that reflects the will of the Nigerian people. So, would the elites want America's constitution to be for the people? Would they want it to be based on a sound, economic system? Would they want the currency to be backed by gold, by the natural resources? Would they go against all this agenda, for new American century, new world order? Would they want them to have society based on righteousness, based on balance? They don't want that. They want the people to be confused, to be subservient, and that's one thing the people don't want, man. They rather be free, but hey, when there's so much corruption, they rather go elsewhere. If you can't make it at home, you go abroad,
transparent and peaceful election that reflects the will of the Nigerian people? Or could that depend on whether they choose the right candidate for the job?
Governor Rufai who I've known, I think he's concerned. I think he's raising a very legitimate concern that there may be people who try to turn this into.
All right. So it says Western oligarchy may try to intervene. Hey, and what does that represent? The elites of Esau, man. In the West, France, England, Dutch, even folks in Germany, folks they gotta you see America as a playing ground to make money. That's all oil production they have over there. They need to make money, man. And then you see what happened in Ghana sometime last year. They didn't really want American to have a base over there, so they understand, man. The protest over there was heavy because they know their government is full of frauds, and that's why they're watching these elections closely in Nigeria, and the young people are pissed off. They rather have opportunities at home than go abroad because hey, it's nothing as beautiful as being among your own people. But the Lord thereby Shema Shai has to set up this controversy so the Esau can be destroyed.
Venezuela situation. I am concerned that there are people in the United States and Great Britain, mainly the financial oligarchy, who would like a different president because Buhari is very strong-willed. And then you have the introduction of George Soros and the Open Society of West Africa.
So that's Esau for you, man. Open society this, open society that. He wants countries to go along with the agenda for New World Order. And the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is not going to let Esau accomplish his goals, all right? So I get a precept here. Let's see what I have. Let me get the one from Second Ezra. Second Ezra chapter 11, verse 46. It says, you know what? Some verse 44. 43 is better. The deal that the Lord Shema Shai, made with Esau to make him have rule over the earth. But then in Second Ezra chapter 11, let him know through Yahushai that his rulership has not been pleasant. All right. Though it says in verse 43, therefore is thy wrongful dealing come up unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty. All right. So the reports of Esau's rulership, has come up to the presence of the Lord there by Shema Shai via the angel's report. And then it says the highest also had looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and its abominations are fulfilled. So the rulership of Esau is coming to an end. The elites know it, and they are upset, and therefore appear no more, thou eagle. All right, that's the EU right there, the Roman Empire, nor thy horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws, nor all thy vain body, that the earth may be refreshed and may return, being delivered from thy violence, and that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her. All right, so Esau knows about this chapter, of Second Ezra chapter 11 of the Apocrypha, and he's not pleased with the publications of the words of Yahweh Shema Shai, being made known to the people on the face of the earth, especially the elect of the nation of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, including the confusion of faces. All right, so Esau's rulership is done. He's upset, and he's gonna create a lot of madness, man. It's gonna be so violent, because he knows his end is near. And this is Job chapter 20, verse 22. And then it says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. All right. And when you look it up in the blue letter, the word there, wicked, in the Hebrews talk about the oppressed. So all these nations that Esau has, his minions and puppets in there, they're going to turn against him. All right. And verse 23 says, when he is about to fill his belly, the Lord shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. All right. So the Lord Yabashima Shai is going to destroy Esau's kingdom. It's going to destroy the power of these elites. And they're going to be in captivity very soon. And they know that. So this is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 23. Because, Esau is a violent man. The Lord Yabashima Shai is going to destroy him with violence. So Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 23, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Alright, so that's the point right there, man. So the Secretary of State of America is talking about, free, fair, and transparent elections, but that's not exactly what they care about, man. They just want their will to be done. The will of the elites that run the corporations. They want their interests to be manifest and held on to be the number one priority. Because Esau knows that he can't survive without these nations, man. He doesn't have the will to do the work, so he rather depend on the people for their resources, man. All right. That's why Esau's population keeps going down, man. They're not really being productive as it's supposed to be. All right. Verse 24, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. So America has fallen into the trap, and they don't know it. They don't see it. Until it's too late, they can't get out, because the Most High deceived them. All right. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. All right. So by coming against the man of the Lord, by destroying his temple, his people, hiding the words of Yahweh Shema Shai, the artifacts, disrupting the peace upon the face of the earth, he's come against the Lord. So the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is going to create destruction for Esau. Scripture talks about he that cause of confusion shall reap the whirlwind, destruction, sweat mischief shall reap the wind. So, final precept here is the book of Psalms, chapter 10, 17, and 18. And it says, the Lord has heard the desire of the humble, that's the elect, all right? Thou will prepare their hearts, thou will cause thine ear to hear, to judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress. So that's the point, it's about balance. The Lord is going to bring back that righteous balance, because right now we're living under the influence of Esau, and then the Lord Yahweh Shemashah is not pleased, so he has to intervene, so that his elect will be saved, his elect of the nation of Israel. Alright, so I came, Kahala Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Kakadash. That's the point, I hope you've been edified. Hopefully, we found more lessons out there to reassure Jake that the end is near for these Edomites, man. That the Lord Yahweh Shai is not joking. He's about to deliver his people from the four corners of the earth. Shalom.